What's up, guys? Do we have any amateur detectives out there? People who want to solve the great mysteries of our times? Well, for some civilian scientists selected by the FBI, they may have contributed to a case that was closed due to lack of evidence. That being the amazing robbery committed by D.B. Cooper. I'm Sasha Wood, here to tell you about this potential new evidence on I.O. Okay, so before we unveil that, you need to know, for those who don't, what is the D.B. Cooper case? Well, D.B. Cooper is the name given to the unidentified man who hijacked a Boeing 727 on November 24th, 1971. He boarded with a black attaché case and was by all accounts unremarkable in appearance. After takeoff, he handed the flight attendant a note, which she ignored, assuming it was just a proposition from a lonely businessman, which meant that he had to lean over and whisper to her, "Miss, you'd better look at the note, I have a bomb." What was actually written on the note is also a mystery, as Cooper ultimately reclaimed it, but it is known that it was written in a black felt tip pen. He managed to extort $200,000 in ransom money. He was described as polite by other passengers, never menacing or cruel. He demanded the money as well as 4 parachutes, rejecting the military grade they offered him and choosing instead civilian grade. FBI agents assembled the money from several Seattle area banks, 10,000 unmarked $20 bills, and made a microfilm photograph of each. After his demands were met, the plane landed at Seattle-Tacoma Airport, where all passengers were released, and the money and parachutes were exchanged. The plane then refueled and took off again, with alias Dan Cooper outlining his flight path, a southeast course towards Mexico City. After numerous instructions, such as the fact that the landing gear remained deployed, the wing flaps be lowered to 15 degrees, and that the cabin remain unpressurized, as well as locating a second refueling stop, they were off. At some point during the flight, around 8:13 p.m., the aircraft's tail section sustained a sharp upward movement. It is thought that around that time period is when D.B. Cooper parachuted from the plane. Despite rigorous investigation by the FBI, Cooper was never properly identified or found, despite the excellent composite put together after interviewing the passengers. Obviously, this is the Cliff Notes version. There are many more minute details, but we would be here all day. Suffice it to say that the public was and still is captivated by how someone could pull something like this off seemingly successfully. So what is this new breakthrough? Well, scientists used a powerful electron microscope to examine the JCPenney tie left behind by Cooper during the hijacking. The group goes by the name Citizen Sleuths, and their lead researcher Tom Kay stated, "These are what they call rare earth elements. They're used in very narrow fields for very specific things," referring to the cerium, strontium sulfide, and pure titanium found on the tie. Kay says these elements were not commonly used in 1971, but they were being used in the development of the Boeing high-tech supersonic transport plane going on at that same time. Hence, Kay speculates that Cooper could have been a Boeing employee who regularly wore the tie to work, stating, "The tie went with him into these manufacturing environments, for sure, so he was not one of the people running these manufacturing machines. He was either an engineer or a manager in one of the plants." Citizen Sleuths is currently looking for more tips to help them bolster this theory. They particularly want to hear from people with experience in the aerospace industry in the Pacific Northeast. These scientists hope that by hearing more theories, it will help them build a profile of the infamous D.B. Cooper. Will this be enough for the FBI to reopen the case, which they just closed in 2016? Only time will tell. Are you guys intrigued by unsolved cases? Would you ever form a league to try and solve them? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, leave the mysteries that intrigue you the most down there too. I'm Sasha Wood, thanks so much for watching I.O. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned to stay informed. Bye bye.